Welcome to Parsha with Passion. This week's Parsha is Precious Noach, and I'm out here on my beautiful neighbor Karen Bielik's swing because this week's topic is all about not being stuck. You are not stuck. That is the topic, and that's why I wanted to be in a place of movement and openness. And if I make you nauseous with my movement, please do not watch this video. Just listen with your heart, turn your head away. I don't want anyone getting sick over Precious Noach. What does that mean, you are not stuck? How do we find this in the Parsha? Now we're going to do this really, really quick, and I'll tell you why, because it's late on a Friday afternoon. You don't have a lot of time to watch this, and I want you to get this message in a nugget. Okay, here it is. Noach built a teva. Noah built an ark for 120 years, and Hashem told him, build it for 120 years. Why? Because I want everyone to be in conversation with you. I want people to ask about it and say, what are you doing? And then you'll say, I'm building an ark because the world's going to be destroyed. What are you talking about? Yes, really. And Hashem wanted Noach to speak to people because really he wanted to give the world another chance. And you know, it's amazing. When we think about another chance, we're like, oh, another chance. Hashem gave 120 years. That's the kindness of Hashem. That's his style. Other chances, 120 years delay. So Noach had a job. His job was to affect the world by building the ark, not only to save himself. He was supposed to be the ambassador, but he didn't believe in himself. He didn't believe that he could affect change. And that's exactly, our sources tell us, that is the reason why he wasn't able to affect change. He didn't convince a single person. There was no one else in the ark besides for him and his family. This is a very, very, very sad and sobering thing. Really, I hope you get how heavy this is. He spoke to people. He didn't make one sale. Do you ever try to do sales? You try to sell something, you try to fundraise, you get on the phone. Hi, I'm calling from this organization. We're doing a fundraiser. Imagine doing that for 120 years, not one sale. What does that mean? That means that you're the guy who got on the phone. Hi, I'm collecting for this. Oh, you're not busy. You're busy right now. Bye. And you hang up. No, you've got to push it. You've got to ask, when's another time that I can call you? When can we speak? Hey, did your child go to that school? You know, that's why I'm calling you. Engage them. Get them involved. Make the sale. He didn't make one sale. Why is this? Because he wasn't confident. He didn't believe that he could do it. Not only that, he didn't believe that it could be done. He didn't believe that people really could change. Noach's whole thing was that, why was he called the tzaddik, a righteous man? It says because he kept away from all the other people. They were doing horrible things, and he said, I'm going to keep away from them. I'm not going to get involved in that behavior. And he thought people can't change. The best way that the best thing that I could do is that I could walk with Hashem. I could go on my righteous path and just mind my own business. And because at his heart of heart he thought people don't change, he wasn't able to affect any change. This is a tragedy. Such a tragedy that the entire world got destroyed because of it. It means that if he would have even saved one person, the whole family of the world would look completely different. So we continue. What does it mean to be stuck in your beliefs? What does it mean to change? What does it mean to believe that change is possible? And we have a few places in the Parsha where we can learn out about change and our perception and how it all fits together. And one of them is the rainbow. A rainbow is an amazing thing. It exists, and also it doesn't exist. All it is a drop of water seen in a certain way, in a certain light. There is a rainbow. But when you try to capture that rainbow, it actually doesn't exist. It exists and it doesn't exist. It all depends on how you look at it. Same thing with Noach. Could people change? They're entrenched in their ways. That exists. In another way, there's a power of change and an infinite power that's beyond what you could see. And that also exists. You see, a rainbow, Rabbi Akiva Tatz talks about that things that are spiritual, they can exist together. If you took all the colors of the rainbow and you mushed them together and you just poured the colors of paint into a plate or a bowl, it would just make a brown, icky mud. They can't exist together. They can't be separate and together. They're either separate or together. But in the spiritual world, you can have two things at once. You can have light that is separate and also together. You can see all the colors of the rainbow in one thing of light, neither one taking away from the other. And so, is a rainbow a real thing or not? Is a rainbow a happy sign or not? It depends on how you look at it. It all depends on what you believe. In Judaism, we have this really strange thing. It's like, it makes you crazy. I don't know if you grew up with Rainbow Bright. She was the doll with the rainbow on her. Oh, she was so cute, Rainbow Bright. And then you have this confusing things that it says. Our sources say that a rainbow is actually a bad sign. It's a sign that God is displeased with us. So you look at a rainbow and you go outside and you see pictures. And once I saw an even double rainbow, and it was so creepy because I'm looking at this gorgeous, gorgeous double rainbow. And on one hand, I'm so in awe. I'm in awe. It's like a display, a show. We took pictures of it, shared it with our friends. Did you see the rainbow? Oh, I saw the rainbow. We all stood on our back porch right over there. And then on the other hand, there's this superimposed thought. Wait, the Torah says this is an ominous sign. This is a bad sign. So how do we put this together? How do we put something so beautiful with the idea that it's also an ominous thing? And I knew you had this question because it's buggersome, you know? And the answer is how you see change. Hashem is saying you need to change. And if we see change as impossible, then yes, it's a very ominous sign. But if we see change as possible, then the rainbow reminds us time to change, time to do tshuva, and doing tshuva is why we were created. Returning to our source is why we were created. Fixing ourselves is why we were created. And any reminder to do tshuva and any action that we take to tshuva is wonderful. It's something to celebrate. See, we're not supposed to get down when we see a rainbow. There's this Hasidic thought that you don't need, that sadness only serves specific purposes. You choose sadness. I saw this from Reb Shmuel Charnak. He says, and I think it's just the way that he said it was so beautiful. He said when you choose sadness at certain times, but other times when you just feel a wave of sadness or you bump into sadness with some encounter, change that sadness into regret, and that regret you work into tshuva. And then whatever that feeling was is fodder, is fuel for you to do tshuva, to get close to Hashem, and therefore it's transformed. To just sink into sadness, to just sink into depression. Oh, the world is never going to change, Noach says. Oh, I see a rainbow, we're all doomed. That's never going to get you anywhere. And not only that, it's up to you. It was up to Noach. It's up to us when we see the rainbow. What do we do with that information when we see something that gets us down? And how about when we see something about ourselves? Oh, that's a killer. Do you ever see yourself in the same pattern again and again and again, and you're like, shoot, I did it again. Why do I do this? Why did I fall into that? And you have a choice right there in that moment. Are you going to choose to believe that change is impossible, or are you going to choose to see that change is possible? And it all depends on how you see it. We see this one more time. This is going to be my last example in the parsha. We're going to wrap this up very, very soon. Shem, Cham, and Yafes, Noach's 3 sons. Cham walked in and he saw his father was undressed. And it said that he saw his nakedness. And then it talks about Shem and Yafes, and they walked in, and it says they walked in backwards and they didn't see his nakedness. And we asked a good question. Look, it says they walked in backwards. Why does the Torah also have to say that they didn't see his nakedness? They were backwards. That was how they showed respect, so they wouldn't see his nakedness. Why does the Torah have to say that specifically? And the answer is they walked in backwards. That's why they didn't see what his body looked like. They just covered him. But also, they didn't see his nakedness. They chose what to see. They didn't see our father is just a base man and a degenerate, and look at all his passions, and look what he's done, and look how awful he is. That's what Cham saw, because Cham had an affinity towards that. And so he thought, like, yeah, that's how we are. But Shem and Yafes, they saw things a different way, and how they chose to perceive it is what created the reality. They saw that he's their father, he's deserving of respect, he found himself in a low state, and they're going to help him out, and he's going to get back to being their father. They saw the possibility of tshuva. That's who they were, and that's why they were rewarded. So again, we have that last example, and there's many more, but that last example of how you see something changes what you will do about it. And so we have to ask ourselves, how do we see ourselves? We have to ask ourselves, do we really believe that reinvention is possible? I believe that it is. I believe that the main thing that holds us back from completely flying in our emunah, completely flying in our parenting, completely flying in our marriages, completely flying as human beings, is that we see ourselves as limited. Oh, a plug. Coming up, my retreat, your retreat, is in 3 weeks, and the whole point is to give women a chance to see themselves, capital S-E-E. Because when you see yourself, when you see the possibility for tshuva, when you experience yourself in your highest state, you're able to see yourself, and that seeing is enough to fuel incredible change, which is what this whole world is about, which is why I do these things anyway, to give a transformative experience. So this week, if you want to know more about that, just email me. It's rivkamalka@gmail.com. I'll say that slower. ITSRIVKAMALKA@gmail, or just redemptionretreat@gmail.com. Do that. This week, when you continue on your very serious and amazing avodah from Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, remember that change is possible. It's how you see yourself. It's all how you see yourself. I'll tell you one anecdote from our life over here in Baltimore. My son, he's actually very disciplined. He pushes himself. He used to be, all into weights. Then he hurt his shoulder. So he basically got our family involved in fitness. So for the past week, we've been doing this crazy fitness program called Insanity, and we do it in our living room, all the girls, and it's such a push. Oh my gosh, it is actually insane. I even did it this morning, 8:30 a.m. It's a push. And the push was possible. What makes this Insanity program sell so fast and so much and be marketed so wildly? Why Insanity? Why not anything else? Turn on any old video, it doesn't matter. Because of the way they promote it, the before and afters. You see the afters and you're like, oh, I could be that. That's possible. I could do it. And you get this visual of what you can be, and you start to believe it. And, I don't really think I'm going to turn out like some of the people that are exercising over there, at least not in these 60 days. Which is a 60-day challenge. But having that visual is what keeps you going. That visual is the key to the belief that change is possible. And so get a visual of yourself, write it down, do some self-coaching, get on the phone with someone. The year is just beginning. We're just at the foundational parts. Get a strong plan, a strong visual of who you want to be. Don't just let the weeks pass by. Don't fall into the rut of believing that change is not possible like Noach, and go in and out the same way without even rescuing one, metaphorically one person, one part of yourself, one part of your neshama that's waiting to be born into this year, that's waiting to be revealed into this year. Change is possible. You are not stuck. Have a beautiful Shabbos.